dra no bar je be ge tarba dan tam je gembe bardu chopra je ba tham je ge so je be ma nang ka dang nyam pe sen jen tam je de wa dan den thong ya dang de ne de la na me ba yang da bra so be chan chu ren po je to bra ja da la da wa je be da no bar je be ge tar ba dan tham je kem be bar du jo bra je ba tham je ge se je be ma nang ka dang nyam pe sen jen tham je de wa dan den du ngao dang de ne du la na me pa yang da bara zo pe chang ju ren po je to bra ja na la dang wa je be da no bar je be ge tar pa dang tham je kem be bar du jo bra je ba tham je ge zo je be ma nang ka dang nyam pe sen jen tham je de wa dan den du ngao dang de ne du la na me pa yang da bra zo be chan ju ren po je to bra ja de je de sang ma ge ge bar du long a yesum ge wa la ko ma she bar du long a yesum ge wa la ko du de re ne sun de ne ma san da sam ge bar du long a yesum ge wa la ko san je cho dan so ge cho nam la chang chu bar du da ne kyam su je da ge jin so ge be so nang ke cho la ben je san je du bra shu san je cho dan so ge cho nam la chang chu bar du da ne kyam su je da ge jin so ge be so nang ke Drola penche sanje do prasho sanje jodan soge jonam la chancho bardu dane kyamso che dage jinso gibe sonang ke Drola penche sanje do prasho manang kadang nyampe senjen tamje dewa dang Dewe Gendan Dempara Girije, Dunga Dang Dunya Gi Gyudang Drawa Girije, Dunga Mepe Dewa Dang Me Drawa Girije, Neding Chadang Nidang Drawe Dang Nyang La Nabra Girije, Manang Kadang Nyampe Senchen Tamje Dewa Dang, Dewe Gendan Dempara Girije, Dunya dang dunya gi gyudang drawa girje dunya mepe dewa dang me drawa girje nering chadang nidang drawa dang nyang la nebra girje manang kadang nyampe senjen tamje dewa dang dewe gendang dembra girje dunya dang dunya gi gyudang drawa girje Dunya mepe dewa dang me dewa girju Nering chadang nidang dewa Dang nyong la nebra girju Durje changwan dili naro dang Marmi dabu badu jiten gun Kadrin sumden cawe la me sha Sanju lama idam chokyong la Sowa debso dagi jinju lo Gyam drengi dome samlingi Rape tongsung yong la kya Tso me gyawa dongje chang Pa jikten gombo shabla du Du tak tu samgyu kyo le me Jinji lo shi tu je che Ninge mumba zane kya Simtro de du do pra jinju lo Hong jin yu ji no chang sa Pema ge sa dong po la Ya sen jo ge ngon zhe nye Pema June Sheshu Guru Kandu Mambu Guru Keke Jesu Dadrum Ge Jinji Lobji Shizu So Guru Pema Sede Men Chuki Yinki Bodrane Dusu Sanje Gunji Ngoni Rangsen Jogu Ngonzum Donze Ba Zobe Lame Shabla Sowa So today our practice is the Achi cleansing smoke offering. So just a reminder to everyone, generally what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays is the Achi Achi smoke offering. Then Tuesday and Thursday we chant the supplication to the golden rosary lineage of the Drikung, as well as the chant for look upon me from afar with eyes of compassion. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we do at the end those aspiration and blessing prayers from the Gangyu, meaning the translated words of the Buddha. So now the Achi Sang, Achi smoke offering. Doje Neljo Mara Keji Sewe Jisu Tu Jikten Sumgön Rana Shri Tugu Rangshin Jindu Shu Tuge Sabun Pam Yegle Nam Yang Kam Tru Zenam Ki Mada Dema Kunjang Shin La Yang Oma Hong Yik Jo Jodze Ngobo Samegi Yeshe Dudzi Rangshin Chen Nampa Soso Rik Tunze Pa Ye Tong Sun Kang Wan Gyuru Om Ahum Namah Sarva Tata Gade Bhayo Bishap Ukebya Sarva Takang Ungade Saparana Hemanga Gana Kang Sohan Namah Sarva Tata Gade Bhayo Bishap Ukebya Sarva Takang Ungade Saparana Hemanga Gana Kang Sohan Namah Sarva Tata Gade Bhayo Bishamukebya Sarva Takang Ungade Sabarana Hemanga Gana Kang Sohan. Mage Selzo Sangwe Kyoko de Jinden Shesu Sobe Denso Ne Yeshe Lela Trupe Dagima Kadan Damla Nebe Sumacho Chuki Ingle Gyume Kudro Pa Yeshe Jikten Suzen Tukorje Tudam Gyugo Neder Shesu Sobe Namka Tingzang Yu O Barvelo Ke par mule tinda terdum ne jese jemu aji nanangza Rage du par du je yeshe yingle gyume kutuba Leidang yeshe damse wangi la rang rang deitung gyawe tensun jir Shige wanda kodang jeba nam Nyongjo dungwe ngaru du da do Bodze chobe yamo lingse len Chodin da sandu du zi gyatso gye Damsan yerde damse sama ja ja hom ham ho ala la ho he he bhagavat akarasaya samaya ja Lamo Kodan Chepa Gon Naran Tumbe Tenla Keparishu Ngojo Yitu Chotin Gyasu Kyo Lunga Isun Kupe Chasen To Dering Nelo Gyapo De Duso Sanshin Sakarge Sanje Jinje Dracho Nam Saba Sebe Monlam Ge Dese Dagi Dongkundum Dering Lala Sanchu Bu Deden Chuge Rangsa Den Dredami San Sanshin Da Ge Mon Sebe Mencho Naso Dang Dasarinchen Poda Agaru Zenden Karma Desanduru Ka Shupa Dali Taupa Laso Ki Shingna Duzi Dinden Tamche Da Chema Ogom Sato Naso Ki Dudu Dilla Tebe Sancho Di Tsawa Gyupe Pelden Lama Sang Yidam Doje Nyaujo Korje Sang Somo Yinchu Jogi Do Leki Kandro Yeshe Kandro Ma Damsi Kandro Wangi Kandro Ma Saje Soje Doje Masum Sang Ama Ningu Sogi Budin Dan Tenle Tomo Mamo Kodang Je Shaza Mana Tongi Sonam Dang Mamo Kandro Malo Tamje Sangri Shogi Surupu Dambana Jomo Dashi Seyi Wangchuma Lamen Riksin Chinga Chamdeo Dan Tema Juni Kodang Cheba Dacha Damden Nyaujo Drupa Bo Gowe Ladang Gyungi Sume Cho Kagyu Tempa Rinchen Sunse Bara Shaushe Suma Gyaso Sangi Cho Ladang Dala Bogyo Damde Dan Nyamde Kondre Note Donte Nye Roba Jinea De Dan Tenso Sho Misang Gyungun Sangi Dagyu Ne Detara santu joga samo ye lasung geshe nyamcha sugyurne parjo mitun kingun din shiva dam punso samba jusin chumbar sho ge derin laso panto do choki drome o panto tensen jinang sawa ye choki drome o panto jodin dogu naso ge choki drome o panto mogu toya romo ye choki drome o panto ngadang chakya dinsengi choki drome o panto sebe semo le towa choki drome o panto nide se o le se wa choki drome o panto isin norbu targewa choki drome o panto yargi gyaso targeba choki drome o panto gede minu byage jir choki drome o panto senshu gyonshin dangdur chir choki drome o panto soma midang madel shi korde tenyo no chuki tujin pyayong punso kun deren dagi yandu len chayang yaso shindu nga tuje genam ge nimpo tenpa rinchen sun tenzen pyage tenpa razo dacha mino korje la shila tashi longcho pyo jesu dacha jungkundo kame gokyo demno so deyun dungu lundu so badra sadwa samaya manu balaya balaya sudo mabwa sudo Dunsun sanje guru rinpo je ngondu kunda dewa chenpe sha pache gunse dudu drapo se soba depso jinji labdo so jinang sampe pache shiva da sampa lungi drupra jinji la dunsun sanje guru rinpo je ngondu kunda dewa chenpe sha soba depso jinji labdo so what so jinje lo so jinang sangwe paje shiwa da samba lenge drupra jinje lo jose sanje guru rinpoche mudre kondra dewa chenpe shat paje kunse de tapose so what so jinje lamdo so jinang sangwe paje shiwa da samba lenge drupra jinje lo jose sanje guru rinpoche mudre kondra dewa chenpe shat Baje kunja dodo da boza sowa da so chenje lamdo so china sangwe paje shiva da samba longje thopra chenje lo de so sanje kuru rinpoche ngoda kunda da wa chenpa sha paje kunja dodo so bo so sowa da so chenje lamdo so china sangwe paje shiva da samba longje thopra chenje lo Guru Rinpoche, Buddha of the 3 times great bliss, source of all siddhis, wrathful subduer of Maras, who removes all obstacles. Grant your blessings, we pray, through them may all obstacles, outer, inner, and secret, be quelled, and may all our aspirations be fulfilled. Sublime, precious, venerable, and glorious root and lineage gurus, assembly of Idam deities, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, and all assemblies of Viras, Viranis, Yoginis, and Dakinis, please heed me. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of Samsara and Nirvana and the inherent root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly dharmas, the 4 causes of samsara, and the resultant states of hearers and solitary realizers. May all the sentient beings, limitless as the sky, particularly those enemies who hate us, obstruct us, who harm, those who create obstacles, maras who mislead, and their mara retinues have happiness, be separated from suffering, and quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, and precious Bodhi by the power of this vast root of virtue. May we benefit sentient beings with body, speech, and mind. May the afflictive thoughts of attachment, aversion, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise in my mind stream. May thoughts of name, fame, gain, respect, and so forth in this life not arise for even a moment. With my mind stream moistened by love, compassion, and bodhicitta, may I come under the care of virtuous spiritual friends, and having become as limitless as space, may I achieve the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. So we start now on the 5th teaching. The precious Lama taught the following. What is the root of all the teachings of the Buddha? The root is one's own mind. And so I think we covered this on Friday. So quoting Saraha, Saraha says, the mind alone is the seed of everything. From it, samsaric existence and nirvana emanate. It fulfills everything that is needed and desired, like a wish-fulfilling jewel. This shows that the root of all phenomena encompassed by samsara and nirvana is one's own mind. The mind is primordially birthless emptiness. So the general way in which samsara and nirvana emanate from the mind is that mind itself, based on conditions, creates these emanations. On that basis, it appears as samsara or nirvana. Therefore, all phenomena encompassed by samsara and nirvana are only one's own mind. There is nothing, not even the slightest bit, that is external. There is nothing, not even the slightest bit, that you are experiencing that is outside, meaning that is not up to you. It's up to you. So this is the challenge, It's up to you. If we are able to accept, see, experience, and then accept that there is nothing, not even the slightest bit, that is external, don't go in the philosophical direction or metaphysical direction, like, as I've said before many times, like, oh, it's the Buddha saying, that chair over there That coffee table over there, the shrine over there, and the bell and vajra over there. What? It's not really there, it's just in my mind. And that would be to go into kind of metaphysical, like, ultimately, does the chair that exists, there's the sofa that exists, out there. Does the shrine that exists out there? No need to go in that direction. The point that should hit us, so to say, that should hit us, that should kind of drive back into our mind, into ourselves, is there is nothing, not even the slightest bit, in terms of our experiences, in terms of our perceptions, in terms of our feelings, in terms of our beliefs, in terms of our blah blah blah, our this, our that, my this, my that. There is not the slightest bit that is out there. So that's the good news, Although, when you're feeling overwhelmed, of course, then it feels like, oh, this is like bad news. You mean there's nothing I can buy that will fix this situation? You mean there's nothing I can do, out there to improve in here? Well, maybe don't need to be so extreme. So we have what people call, retail therapy, or forest bathing therapy, or all those therapies. Okay, it's fine. We are not strong enough, powerful enough yet to take this, this teaching here directly. So yes, some of us engage in retail therapy. Some of us engage in forest bathing therapy. Some of us engage in whatever therapy. Okay, fine. We have to be realistic also where we are. Or we engage in, all different forms of trying to fix things by going outside. And I don't think, that is a problem. So we also don't want to be, arrogant and proud and say, well, everything is mine only. I don't have any problems. I don't need to see any. I don't need any help outside. I don't need to go talk to a therapist. I don't need to go to the doctor. Or, it doesn't mean that, in the Ngondro text, the outer sadhana of Ladrup Devedoje, there's a line that says, do not arrogantly behave, or do not arrogantly pretend it to be so. That's the phrase. It says, do not arrogantly pretend it to be so. And the line that comes before is saying how, all appearances are mine, or something along those lines, and all appearances are appearing clearly as Buddha. This has to do with seeing yourself as a idam, in this case, Buddha Shakyamuni. It says you have to gain conviction, you have to cultivate this steadying your mind, your heart in this confidence that, I am the Guru in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni. And then the next line says, do not arrogantly pretend it to be so. And you have to work on it. So likewise here, we cannot arrogantly pretend it to be so, that there is nothing, not even the slightest bit, that is external. It's something that we need to keep working on it. And so how do we work on it? We work on it like every time. We find things that are, especially when feelings and emotions are strong, So strongly happy, strongly unhappy. In those moments, we need to have some presence of mind, some mindfulness. That's what we mean by mindfulness, essentially. Some presence of mind to take us back to this. Like there is nothing, not even the slightest bit, that we are experiencing, that we are seeing, that we are hearing, that we are believing, that we are holding on to, that is outside of us. Meaning, if change is to happen, it can happen, it will happen, and it's all happening on the level of the mind. The way samsara emanates from the mind is that it arises from the condition that the mind is combined with three afflictions. Based on that, samsara with its three lower realms and so forth, they appear. The way nirvana emanates from the mind is that it arises from the condition that the mind aspires to the three kinds of awakening, the three types of bodhi, whether the bodhi as achieved by the hearers, the bodhis as achieved by the solitary realizers, or the bodhi that is achieved by the complete and perfect Buddhists. And in this way, one's own mind is also where nirvana is to be found. How exactly does samsara emanate from one's own mind? It is through the mental performance, meaning the way that the mind then acts out the affliction of desire. Out of desire towards mentally desired things, then the result is that actions of arising, then these actions arise as the hungry grows realm. This point was also explained in detail yesterday with the analogy of the wax model. The same goes for the mind combined with hatred or with delusion and their actions and results. Thus, the hell realms and animal realms are such states of mind appearing as those realms. So we have to gain confidence in how our minds, our thoughts, our emotions create the reality that we inhabit, that we are surrounded by. Again, I'm not advocating that you just pretend that everything is fine. There are, challenges, problems, all of that, Yeah, we have to work through all of that on the, what, we would call external level. But while working on, you can always clean your house, sweep your floor, do your laundry, take your shower, cut your hair, brush your teeth, all those things you still have to do. It's like, you cannot pretend to be, arrogantly pretend to be Milarepa when you are not so. So all those other things, you do. But you do with the understanding that, in the end, disappointment and satisfaction is something that I can control, so to say. As in, not like control, but I can, I can. I have this ability to decide, whether it's going to be satisfaction or disappointment. It's a matter of perspective and attitude. So that's the good news. Yeah? Nirvana also emanates from the mind. Independence upon a spiritual friend. Spiritual friend is the translation for geshe. Geshe. These days, the word geshe is used as like an academic, a monastic academic title, especially in the Gelugpa, also actually in the Bonpo tradition. they use geshe. Whereas in the Kagyu Nyingma Sakya, we use Kempo. Kempo has an original meaning to it, which is the Vinaya. It's a Vinaya term referring to the monk who gives vows and precepts to new monks and nuns. The monk that gives vows, he is then the Kempo. But then now that term Kempo is also used as an academic title for teachers, monastic teachers. Just like geshe originally is the Tibetan translation of the Sanskrit called Kalyana Mitra. And geshe is the contraction of geshe shenyan, which I believe is the word used here, translated here as spiritual friend. But literally geshe shenyan, or geshe, gewa shenyan, sorry. So gewe shenyan is virtuous, gewa, virtuous, gewe, shenyan, who knows. The knowing and virtuous person, or the one who knows virtue. The one who knows virtue, who knows what is virtuous, that is a spiritual friend. The one, geshe, literally that means the one who knows what is virtuous, and therefore also know what is non-virtuous, and is able to teach us that, teach us through their body, through their speech, through their minds. And this is not spiritual friend like, oh friend, palling around. Hey friend, let's go out and hang out, This I have to say, although saying it makes it very lonely, What am I referring to? I think it's, especially in the West, it's very fashionable. Partly maybe because of translation, translating things like spiritual friend, which is it's very fashionable, I think, in the West. You don't see this so much in Asia, which is people like to say, he's my friend, he's also my teacher. I don't think you can have it both ways. At least the ordinary sense of friend. And because there, a lot of times what I'm seeing there, myself included, if I mentally, I at least don't verbally say things like this. Maybe mentally I do. I find that when I look at someone and say, oh, this is my teacher, this is also my friend. Basically, I'm saying, I would like this person to be equal to me. And I would only listen to what they have to say if it's agreeable to me. And you cannot have it both ways, In fact, I know some people, like even His Holiness Drikung have said to certain people, like, we know each other too well. It's now too casual. You cannot relate to me as teacher. You have to find someone else. Now, doesn't mean, anyone who is a teacher, you need to consider as teacher. You consider as friend. That's fine. Don't just simply, Then, in the bigger sense of the word teacher, we say, anything and anybody can be and should be our teachers. All appearances arise as the Guru, for sure. I'm just saying, in those times where there's an actual person standing there and you say, oh, this is my friend, this is my teacher. Look into that and see, when you want to say that. And clarify, So what is it, for this, with this person? What is it? So people that I would refer to as my teachers, I would never say. And now at this point also, I never think, oh, they are friends. For my own purpose, In that sense, very selfish. For my own purpose. I don't say, oh, he's my friend. Because it's not going to work. Now Kyoba Rinpoche is going to talk about the three types of the hearer type, as in those who are aiming for the hearer goal, those who are aiming for the solitary realizer goal, and those who are aiming for the perfect Buddha goal. Remembering that there are three possible goals in terms of becoming awakened. So these terms, right? Hearer, solitary realizer, and the complete Buddha. These are very specific terms. Tibetan Buddhism in particular uses all these terms that they got from India. So this is from the Indian tradition, Nalanda. So these terms have very specific references. But doesn't mean that you need to memorize, all of it. Or at least, doesn't mean you have to memorize overnight all of this. Just know, as we have said, there are these three levels of three goals, insofar as the goal of Bodhi. So in fact, normally in our recitations, when we say Bodhi, we mean the third type, the complete and perfect Buddha type of Bodhi. But to be technically, to be technical about it, the hearer Bodhi, the hearer also have a state of Bodhi that they achieve. And then the solitary realizers also have a state of Bodhi that they achieve. So here, Kyoba Rinpoche is going to discuss Nirvana. Nirvana meaning, extinguish, meaning all confusion, all afflictive emotions are extinguished. Insofar as Nirvana is concerned, the hearer's Nirvana, the solitary realizes Nirvana, and the full Buddha's Nirvana. He says, not Kyoba, this is from Indian tradition, is different. So the first one, independence upon a spiritual friend who is a hearer as the condition. So if you have a teacher whose goal is to achieve the hearer level of Bodhi, the intention of aspiration to the awakening of a hearer arises. And so if you have such a teacher, then you will be inspired to go for that goal, the goal of a hearer. From that intention, then the result of a hearer's awakening, the state of an arhat, manifests, arises. Now, when the spiritual friend is a solitary realizer, then you will be an intention of aspiration to the awakening awakening of a solitary realizer arises, quite naturally, you'll be inspired to go for that kind of intention. I want to be like you. Again, based on that intention, the state of a rhinoceros-like solitary realizer who has affection for the lowly and destitute and is an object of worship for the world is attained. Who has affection for the lowly and destitute. Here I don't think it means like, it's not talking about, they love those who are lowly and destitute, meaning they delight in, they don't have any problems being treated as lowly and destitute. Solitary in the sense of like, being left alone. And in that way, they are an object of worship of the world. They are to be admired. It takes a tremendous, strength, confidence. Do not be affected by the fact that, people think of you as lowly and to be in a state of destitute. Saying, so the solitary realizer style is more that people will think, this is, someone in destitute. But then Kyoba here says, but truly they're an object of worship for the world. The world should admire these. From an intention of aspiration to unsurpassable awakening, this is the third type, the result of unsurpassable awakening is attained. So if you have the condition of meeting and training with a teacher or teachers who themselves have unsurpassable awakening, the third type of Bodhi, the Bodhi of a full and complete Buddha, then you too will be inspired to go for that result, and correspondingly, that result would arise for you. In this way, each result of awakening that is attained is in accord with the respective of the three intentions. And this is how one's own mind is nirvana. Thus, first, one of the three kinds of intentions is aroused. So you will be inspired to go for one of the three types of awakening, and then the corresponding desire arises, and then following the respective whatever of the three intentions, then the accumulations of merit and wisdom are completed over the three incalculable kalpas and the other respective time spans. And the three incalculable kalpas are the time span required for those who want to achieve unsurpassed awakening, that of a complete and full Buddha. Doesn't take that long for solitary realizer, and even less of that lengthy time for the hearers. So here Gyopa is also pointing out, whether you are going for the awakening of a hearer, awakening of a solitary realizer, awakening of a complete and perfect Buddha, accumulation of merit and wisdom are the two accumulations. They remain the same. But to a lesser degree, if the goal is that of a solitary, of a hearer, to a greater degree, if it is of a solitary realizer, and then three incalculable eons, if it is unsurpassed awakening. Upon that, each one's result arises. As in the cases of Buddha, Shariputra, and Moggayayana. Shariputra and Moggayayana are the two chief disciples of the Buddha. So they are examples of the hearer awakening. So in previous lifetimes, the three of them were friends. And two of them made the vow, the intention to achieve the awakening of hearers. Whereas Buddha Shakyamuni, in those previous lifetimes, produced the intention of achieving unsurpassed awakening. The two results of hearer and solitary realizer, however, are inferior, and since their scopes are narrower, you should not practice them. So here, Kyoba Rinpoche says, now, as for these three, they are all, first of all, he says, they are all valid, but when you have a choice of three, then you should go for the highest. Why? Out of immeasurable love and compassion for all beings, then you have to go for the third one. The intention of aspiration to unsurpassable awakening is what must be aroused. You should go for that one. You might suppose that it is possible to attain Nirvana from a loving and compassionate state of mind alone. So with regards to giving rise to unsurpassed awakening, which you should go for, but don't think simply just love and compassion alone are enough. But that is not the case, because in a loving and compassionate state of mind, the intention that aspires to one of the three kinds of awakening is actually absent. So with only love and compassion, the desire to awaken is not necessarily there. Not even that of a hearer or that of a solitary realizer, much less of that of a complete and perfect Buddha. Unless it is governed by an intention aspiring to one of the three kinds of awakening, a loving and compassionate state of mind is not capable of achieving any of the three types of Bodhi. Such a state of mind will even establish samsara, like mere love and compassion without understanding. Basically, it's what it's saying. Without understanding how samsara is created, how nirvana is achieved, what is our situation. He says, at best, it will love and compassion will establish samsara, although with immense worldly well-being and happiness, as in the case of the previously mentioned servant girl from Varanasi, or the Rishi Trishanku and the king of the Matangas. So these are examples of, in the story of the life of the Buddha, and past lives of the Buddha, where, the power of love and compassion resulting in good existence, but within samsara. So this love and compassion has to be blended with, combined with understanding, insight. Someone who understands this teaching will understand what the cause is for the mind to arise as samsara, what the basis for its endurance is, and what the conditions for its disintegration are, and will thereby be skilled in methods of abandoning samsara. They will also understand what the cause is for the mind to arise as nirvana, the basis for its endurance, the basis for this staying, remaining, and so forth, and they will thereby be skilled in methods of attaining nirvana. If you understand this teaching, you thereby understand all phenomena encompassed by samsara and nirvana. So for unsurpassable state of bodhi, of awakening, that of a full and complete Buddha, then we need immeasurable, boundless love and compassion, united with, unified with the wisdom that is called here bodhicitta. So bodhicitta has three elements, love and compassion, two on one side, and the wisdom of understanding where suffering comes from, how suffering can be dispelled completely and thoroughly. Whereas the hearer and the solitary realizer, when they understand this wisdom part, they mainly the main line between them and that of the bodhisattvas who aim for full and complete Buddha, right? Is that those who see this wisdom, but because their love and compassion is not immeasurable, they have some measure of love and compassion. The hearers, those who pursue the hearer's path and the solitary realizer path, they have some measure of that. Then they have the understanding side. Then they go for, I want to achieve freedom from samsara. Then the result is the lesser result compared to that of a full and complete Buddha, who, because of their immeasurable love and compassion, and then when they see the truth of things, they don't only say, being that things are like this, I need to get out. Instead, they say, I need to get everybody out. And so Kyopa says, if you understand, if you understand these important points, then you understand everything already. Everything that you need is already there. So he goes on, he says, when people see piles of scriptures, texts, they say, there's a lot of Dharma. Well, although these scriptures are certainly Dharma, it is the scriptural Dharma that is contained in texts and volumes. These are just scriptural Dharma. To understand this principle of the embodiment of intention is the root of the scriptures. If you understand this root, that the principle of the embodiment of intention, the embodiment of your thoughts. Therefore, as Jikten Sumgön's song on the Erring Yogin says, mind itself is the great commentary on the scriptures. If, on the other hand, the yogi relies merely on letters, on words, then this person is in error. So your mind of samsara is what must be abandoned. More precisely, since the root of samsara is desire and grasping, that is what must be abandoned. The thing that determines happiness and suffering in this life is whether or not you have given up grasping, as in the story of Captain Singala and the merchants. So this one is about a shipwrecked Buddha in the past life was shipwrecked with 500 fellow merchants on the island of the flesh-eating demonesses, disguised as beautiful women. He was the only one who managed to escape due to his discernment and the absence of being clouded by desire. This is how one's own mind as Samsara and as Nirvana and the two embodiments of intentions, the embodiment of intentions from moment to moment and the embodiment of intentions in body transference, meaning between this life and next life. This is how one's own mind and Samsara and Nirvana and the two embodiments of intention establish excellent conditions in this life and for the taking up of a perfect body in the next life and so forth. So meaning, when you understand this principle, when you never forget this principle and you're able to orientate all your actions of body, speech, and mind based on these principles, then happiness now and happiness in the long term can be achieved. Since it all works through the understanding of this teaching on the embodiment of intention, you should take great care to understand it. Moreover, it should be preferred over the many profound teachings, meaning all the other so-called profound teachings. This footnote here, I think, is a little misleading. Sorry, I have to say that. No need to. Moreover, it should be preferred over the many profound teachings, so please take it to heart. It's a more general statement. It's not referring to the different categories of Kyöpa Rinpoche's collected teachings, which the footnote here is talking about. The profound teachings of Kyöpa Jikten Sumgön encompass 3 volumes of his collected works and are also called the Inner Profound Teachings. Another collection, the Secret Profound Teachings, is restricted to very advanced practitioners. Yeah, no, this doesn't matter here. Just this what we just read. Moreover, it should be preferred over the many profound teachings. It's a more general statement, which is saying, you may have heard of so-called profound teachings, very very sophisticated ones, very detailed. You have to understand this, then this, then, finer details, then this can be divided into this part and that part. Some people find those very profound. Then some other people find it very profound when it's like, everything is just open, everything is just, there is no confusion, there is no desire, everything is just empty. We also think that is very profound. Or then some people like, so some people like philosophical sophistication and think, that is really profound. Some people like the, everything is just Buddha, and we think that is profound. And some of us like, all this like moving of energy, feeling this, feeling that, and then we think, that is really profound. But Jikten Sumgön here reminds us, the really profound is this point. How Samsara and Nirvana arises from your mind. And with regards to that, the further detail of that is this notion of what appears, what is embodied, what appears is the appearance of thoughts, intentions, motivations. All those is what causes the appearances that we experience from moment to moment and from this life to next life. And it says there is nothing more profound than this point. And so all appearances are one's own mind. And that is a general, that line is exactly the same point as, the embodiment of intentions. But this phrase, embodiment of intention, is something that Kyöpa is quite specific, I would say, to Kyöpa. All appearances are one's own mind is in the general Kagyu family, in the early Kagyupa especially. Then, of course, both statements, you can find in the Buddha's teachings right at the beginning, even in the so-called basic teachings, like the Dhammapada, the opening verses of the Dhammapada already gives us this point. But then, we are always looking for more fancy things, more sophisticated teachings. So the yogi, the practitioner, who goes looking for more words, more fancy philosophy, will be misled if they miss this point. So this is teaching, the fifth teaching given on the fifth day, which is a short one, which is almost like repeating teaching 4, Okay, so we are done. Tomorrow we start the 6th teaching. Changju sem choren poje ma ge ba nam ge gyu je ge ba nyam pa me ba yang gong ne gong du be wen shou. I want to give everyone a chance to look at the stupa in Cusco. Right now here, Mirko is listening in from Cusco, and there's the stupa in the background. Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. There's the stupa in Cusco. And some of you had the chance to go visit already. If you all don't yet have the chance, at some point, definitely go visit the stupa in Cusco. Okay, bye-bye everyone.